Hello, everyone. Welcome to another review class, TCM Foundations, for our lung practitioners. Today, we shall be focusing on lungs and large intestine. And we are very honored to have with us today uh, Sir Regil Andaya from Cebu. Good evening, Sir
May,
Regil.
mayong hapon diya kaninyong tanan.
Ay, Bisaya talaga. Okay, go. Welcome to Cebu. Okay, so let's start. Fill in the blanks. The lungs govern blank
T
and blank
and the respiration
and are in particular in charge of blank
of
the air.
inhaling the air.
Wow. What organ influences the skin and is the intermediary organ between the organism and the environment?
It's the lungs.
What controls blood vessels?
So primarily we have the lungs. The T of the lungs assists in the heart in controlling the blood circulation. Lung plays in aiding the heart, which is the monarch, to circulate the blood.
So can we say that the lungs and the heart, they always work
Work together.
together? Yeah. Okay, kaya pala. Functions of the lungs.
So we have several. They govern the chi and the respiration. They also control the channels and the blood vessels. They control the dispersing and descending, and they regulate water passages. They control the skin and hair. They open into the nose and they house the corporal soul.
What is the most important of the functions that you mentioned earlier? The most important lung function?
However, the lungs have a lot of functions that, however, we have the most important that the lungs govern the chi and the respiration from the air. The lungs extract the clean chi for the body, which then combines with the kuti or futi coming from the spleen. When we say that the lungs govern respiration, we mean that they inhale pure chi, air, and exhale dirty chi. Simple questions like heavenly chi goes to the lungs. The constant exchange and renewal of the chi performed by the lungs ensures that the proper functions of all the body's physiological processes, which take chi as the basis.
Very well said. The lungs govern chi is in the actual process of the formation of chi. Like how,
Gu,
yeah.
yeah. Gu chi is extracted from the body by the spleen and is directed to the lungs where it combines with inhaled air to form the zong qi. Because this process takes place in the chest is also called sea of qi, or we call it he qi, or upper qi, or and opposed to the lower qi below the navel.
Okay. Where does the gathering chi reside? Or the zong, the zong
Yeah.
chi?
So zong qi resides in the chest and aids the lung and heart functions, promoting circulation to the limbs and controlling the strength of the voice.
So can we say that if you have an issue with your limbs, like numbness, or your voice suddenly changed, it became weaker, can we say?
It's quite it's quite obvious if you see a lot of people who have problems with the lungs, they have difficulty in speaking, and their voice is trembling most of the time, and they're weaker, hard to hear, and slower. Sometimes they speak very fast as well, but it cannot and discernible.
How can lung chi deficiency manifest?
So we have tiredness, a weak voice, and a breathlessness.
What organ is the most external of the in organs?
It's the lungs. Because of their role in extracting qi from the air, the lungs are the most external of the yin organs. They are connection between the body and the outside world. For this reason, the lungs are easily attacked by external pathogenic factors and are sometimes referred to as tender organ. Examples delicate and vulnerable to invasion by the climatic factors.
So this is our primary defense, no? The lungs.
Yes.
What organ governs the chi?
It's the lungs. The qi is essential to the heart to circulate the blood. Although the heart controls the blood vessels, the lungs also play an important part in maintaining the health of the blood vessels. The scope is somewhat wider, and the heart, since the lungs not only control circulation of the blood vessels themselves, but also in all channels. We call the one Wei Qi.
Okay. Wei chi. Ay, ganun pala yun. Wei chi. Mom Tricks, Wei chi.
Wei Qi.
Yes,
What
Doc.
what two things flow together in the blood vessels and channels?
So we have nutritive qi and the blood.
What organ controls circulation of chi in both blood vessels and channels?
So we have the lungs because they govern the qi.
If lung chi is strong, circulation of chi and blood will be.
Obviously, it would be good, and the limbs is warm.
So, for people with cold limbs,
They
you have,
cannot breathe.
yeah. If lung chi is weak,
So qi will not be able to push the blood, and the limbs, particularly the hands, will be very cold.
lungs, what do you mean by lungs controlling the dispersing and descending?
So the lungs have the function of dispersing or spreading defensive qi, or wei qi, and the body fluids of all the body to the space between the skin and the muscles. There's one way in which the lungs are physiologically related to the skin. This functions ensures that the wei qi is equally distributed all over the body, under the skin performing its functions of warming the skin and muscles and protecting the body from exterior pathogenic factors.
If lung chi is weak and its dispersing function is impaired, what will happen to the wei qi or defensive chi?
So, yeah, the wei qi not reach the skin, and the body will be easily invaded by exterior pathogenic elements.
When a person contracts a cold, most of the symptoms and signs are a manifestation of the impairment of the lung dispersing function. Can you explain this a little further?
Yes, absolutely. The exterior wind cold obstructs the skin, prevents the spreading of the wei qi, and therefore interferes with the lung dispersing function. Qi cannot be dispersed, and everything feels blocked. Headache, stuffed nose, and sneezing you'll feel.
The chi of the upper burner is in communication with the outside and spreads out. It disseminates the essences of food. It warms the skin, fills the body, and moistens the hair like irrigation by fog and dew. Can you
So
explain?
yes, the upper part of the santiao, besides the qi, the lungs also spread body fluids to the skin in the forms of fine mist. This is one reason why upper burner is compared to mist.
Okay. Can you tell us the relationship between pores and sweating?
So, the fine mist of the body moistens the skin and regulates the opening and closing of pores and sweating. When this function is normal, the pores open and close normally, and there is normal physiological amount of sweating. When this function is impaired, the condition is one of excess. The pores become blocked and there is no sweating. This happens to invasion of cold wind with the prevalence of cold.
Okay, let's talk about lung qi deficiency. How does it affect the pores?
So if the condition is one of deficiency, the pores are over relaxed or remain open so that there is spontaneous sweating. This happens in invasion of the exterior wind cold with prevalence of wind or interior conditions of lung deficiency.
If the lung function of dispersing body fluids is impaired, fluids may accumulate under the skin, causing what?
Edema. Kailan ka? Kailan
It's okay.
Putos ako. Sige.
Sure. Can you continue, Madam Trix, while
Yeah.
alam mo naman negosyante.
Open.
Okay. If the
Hold on.
kaya pala
Wait.
nagkakaroon ng edema yung mukha, no? Yeah. Just like somebody I know. Yung artista. Hmm. Okay, pag nag-swell yung mukha. What are some translations?
Wait lang, Doc.
Yeah.
It's loading.
It's okay. Grabe yung accent niya.
Yes, very British.
Tapos tayo trying hard. Okay. What are some translations for the lungs in Chinese medicine texts?
Um, so because the lungs are the uppermost organ in the body, Chinese medical texts often refer to them as the lid or imperial carriage roof.
Because they are the uppermost organ in the body, the lung qi must what?
Descend.
Okay.
Lung qi must descend.
Lung qi must blank to communicate with the blank.
Must descend to communicate with the kidneys.
Okay, kaya pala yun, no? Like, if you have kidney failure, you will have difficulty inhaling, no?
Mm-hmm.
Hindi na siya nakakagrasp.
Yes.
Hindi na niya ma-hold yung chi.
When you hold your water. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. Which,
And the reason why the lung chi must descend is to communicate with the kidneys. And hoping that the kidney will... Kaya ako pag nag-walk, I made sure that I could inhale. May mga signs pa naman tayo na kidney yin deficiency. Okay. The descending function applies not only to the chi, but also to body fluids because the lungs also direct fluids down to the blank and blank.
down to the kidneys and the bladder.
Okay. Kaya pag hindi siya nag-descend, nag-i-stay siya,
Mm.
nag-ano yung mukha mo, edematous, no?
Mm.
At saka you remember the channel that you have to use when you have dyspnea and then you have to raise your shoulders. Remember? Yes.
Duration.
Yang Wei Mai.
Yang.
If this descending movement of qi is impaired, lung qi does not flow down, and qi will accumulate in the blank, causing blank.
Wait, no, okay. Accumulate in the chest, causing cough or breathlessness and oppression in the chest.
If the lung qi does not descend, how can this affect the large intestine and bladder?
So if the Li does not receive chi from the lungs, it will not have the power to necessarily for defecation. This happens particularly with old people. In certain cases, the impairment of the lung descending function may also cause retention of urine, also particularly in old people.
Ay, oh, okay. Kaya pala nagka-constipate. Okay. Kaya dapat talaga ang deep breathing, no? Exercises.
Mm-mm.
By the lung. Okay. So the Li receives the chi from the lungs.
Yes.
Summary of the lung dispersing and descending functions.
First, they ensure the entering and exiting of qi, ensure the free movement of qi and regulate breathing and the exchange of qi between the body and the environment. Next is they ensure that all organs receive the necessary nourishment of qi and blood and body fluids and prevent the fluids from accumulating and stagnating. And last, they prevent the scattering exhaustion of lung qi.
What do the lungs do with the fluids received from the spleen?
So after receiving the refined fluids from the spleen, the lungs reduce them to a fine mist and spray them throughout the area under the skin. This process is part of the dispersing function of the lungs.
How do the lungs help regulate water passages?
In health, the fluids are evenly spread all over the body and the opening.
Hello? Nawala ka.
No, mahina yung signal.
O sige, ikaw na si
Hello.
Rachel. Thank you, Ma'am Trix. Later again.
Thanks po.
Can you continue?
Salamat kay Trix, ha? Ikaw ako ang
Of
lifesaver.
course.
Busy,
No
we
worries.
need to work, make money.
Of course. Sige. Um, so
So
what?
where are we?
How do the lungs help regulate water passages?
So the fluids are evenly spread all over the body, and the opening and closing of pores is normal. If this function is impaired, the fluids may accumulate and give rise to edema. This is very common, though. I have classmates who always use the like steroids, and to the extent that it damaged the lungs, and she always have edema.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, start treating her.
Yeah, I ask her money.
No, first kasi, you cannot just immediately stop the steroid. You have to
Yeah.
do it gradually, taper it, like mga every 2 weeks mo ito taper. Lalo na pag matagal na.
I try
Okay.
to convince her.
Yeah, and then try to look at the tongue. I'm sure
Mm.
she's a very exciting tongue. The lungs also direct fluids down to the blank and blank.
So the kidneys in the bladder.
What do the kidneys do after receiving fluids from the lungs?
So the kidneys receive the fluids and vaporize part of this before sending back to the lungs to keep them moist.
How do the lungs affect the bladder?
If this lung function is normal, urination will be normal. But if it's impaired, there may be urinary retention, especially in old people. For this reason, the lungs are sometimes called the upper source of water.
So for elderly people with urinary retention, it is always good to check the lungs, no? Something about the lungs.
They have difficulty in breathing as well.
Okay, talk about the pathway of fluids to the organ.
Accent.
I can
Are
see
you from the
Patrick
UK?
laughing. Talk. Talk. God.
Okay. Fluid. Are you from the UK? Which part of it?
I don't know. I haven't been on. Talk. Just gonna
No.
yawn. Okay.
Okay. Talk about the pathway of fluids to the organs. So fluids enter the stomach. The refined part is transmitted upwards to the spleen. Spleen chi, in turn, spreads it upwards to the lungs, who regulate the water passages, send it down to the bladder. Through its dispersing and descending functions, the lungs are therefore responsible for the excretion of body fluids through sweat or urine.
What organ controls skin and hair?
It's the lungs. So because the lungs receive fluids from the spleen and spread it to the skin all over the body, this gives the skin and hair nourishment, and moisture.
The physical way to strengthen the lung qi. Oh, okay. That should be clear.
So there's several ones actually. First one, we have place a book on the chest, something heavy. And one of it is actually through meditation practices.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Mom Tricks, di ba? You also do that.
Yes, Doc. I do meditation.
nice.
If the lung function of dispersing fluids is normal, the skin, hair, and pores will.
Of course, they have luster, be glossy, and opening and the closing is of the pores and sweating will be normal. In short, blooming.
If the lung function of dispersing fluids is impaired, the skin and hair will be.
The skin and hair will be deprived of nourishment and moisture, and the skin will be rough and dry, and the hair have withered and dry quality.
The lungs influence blank qi, which flows under the skin.
Weighty.
If lung qi is strong, blank qi will be strong, and the person will have a good resistance to attack by exterior pathogenic factors.
So the weighty.
Or
Weight.
defensive qi. If lung qi is
Defensive.
weak, the defensive qi will also be weak, and because the pores will be blank, there may be spontaneous sweating.
Yeah, the pores are open. So the person will also be prone to attack by external pathogenic factors. And with this kind of sweating, of course, a certain amount of the weight is lost with the sweat. Conversely, if an external pathogenic factors does invade the external portions of the body, example, the skin and muscles, which can happen even if the weight is relatively good, it will obstruct the skin and therefore the circulation of the weight qi, which in turn will impair the lungs, dispersing function, causing sneezing, cough, and other else.
What organ houses the corporeal soul?
The corporeal soul, the lungs, po.
How do you pronounce this? Po? Okay. What forms the yin or physical counterpart of the ethereal soul, the hun?
Hun. The corporeal soul or po. The corporeal soul is the most physical and material part of the human being's soul.
What is the Chinese character for po?
It means spirit or demon.
Okay.
Also, yeah.
What is the corporeal soul?
So corporeal soul is what we call it, the somatic manifestation of the soul. The classic categories, like in 1624 by Zhang Jie, Ping says the corporeal soul moves and does through the pain and itching can be felt.
The corporeal soul is closely related to blank. It could be said to be a manifestation of the blank in the sphere of sensations and feelings.
Essence. It is the essence.
Yeah, and essence is jing, no?
The qi.
Ah,
Yes.
qing. Nako, Ma'am Trix, qing pala yun. Pala, no?
Which one?
Qing.
Yeah, Jing.
Okay.
Jing, as
Qing.
Jind. Jing.
I learned a lot today. Blank is the foundation for a healthy body. Oh, just like Santiago. Okay. So, Qing pala yun. Halata talaga ni tayo taga-Oxford pag sinabi mo Jing. No?
Jing is my neighbor.
Blank is the foundation for a healthy body.
What page is that? 47.
7.
Yeah. It's still the Qing.
Being related to the lungs, the corporal soul is also closely linked to breathing.
Yeah.
Why?
So the corporal soul residing in the lungs is a direct manifestation of breath of life.
Emotions on the corporal soul.
So, on an emotional level, the corporal soul is directly affected by emotions of sadness or grief, which constrains the feeling of and obstruct its movement. Since the corporal soul resides in the lungs, such emotions have powerful and direct effect on breathing, which could be seen as pulsating of the corporal soul. Sadness and grief constrict the corporal soul, dissolving lung qi and suspends all breathing. The shallow and short breathing of a person who is sad and depressed, an example of this. This is actually common for those people, not necessarily weak, but also and have anxiety and have depression. Their breathing is shallow.
So can meditation help?
Absolutely. Correct way, the
Yes,
proper way.
yes,
The proper meditation.
100%.
Wow.
The proper meditation, not the modern meditation.
Okay. So how long do you have to meditate to make it work?
Yeah, the proper way.
Okay. Breathing and emotions.
So similarly, the rapid and shallow breathing takes place at the very top of the chest only, almost in the neck. It's an expression of a constraint of the corporal soul and lung qi. For this reason, treatment of the lungs is often very important emotional problems deriving from depression, sadness, grief, anxiety, and bereavement. That's why those people who breathe through we call the one that's chest breather. So they have, unfortunately, very fragmented consciousness.
Okay. This is
Ano?
interesting.
Kaya ka.
Sige. Mom Trix, can you take over?
Yes,
Treating the corporal soul versus the ethereal soul in practice. We all know that corporal soul is lung, ethereal soul is liver.
so lung 7 has a powerful releasing effect on the constrained emotions, while bladder 42 tonifies lung chi and firms the corporeal soul. The implication of the corporeal soul in the clinical practice is greater than that of the ethereal soul.
So we should needle bladder 42, no?
42, yes.
Especially for those whose hands are cold. May mga grief, ganun. Lungs and dreams. Can you this is interesting. Let's talk about lungs and dreams.
So when the lungs are in excess, one dreams of weeping. If the lungs are deficient, one will dream of white objects or about bloody killings. If the dream takes place in the autumn, one will dream of battles and war. When the lungs are in excess, one will have dreams of worry and fear, or crying and flying. If the lungs are deficient, one will dream of flying and seeing strange objects made of gold or iron.
The lungs govern the 100 vessels. Can you please elucidate this on this?
So the lungs govern the chi, which is closely related to the blood and flows in the blood vessels together with the blood. So the lungs have an influence on all the blood vessels in the way already mentioned above. Since lung qi affects the blood vessels, the pulse at the radial artery situated at the lung channel reflects the state of all the organs.
Okay. The lungs loathe cold. What do you mean by this?
So the lungs influence the skin and the way qi and are easily invaded by exterior pathogenic factors,
So,
particularly the cold.
so we should wear a shawl, no? Protect the ano. Ayaw ng lungs ang cold. The lungs govern the voice. Can you please explain this?
Wait. Uh, the strength, tone, and clarity of voice are all dependent on the lungs. When the lungs are healthy, they are compared to a bell. giving off a clear ringing sound, which is the voice. So, example, if the lungs are weak, the voice may be low, while if the lungs are obstructed by phlegm, the voice tone may be muffled.
So did you used to have a very clear ringing sound of the voice?
Used to, yes.
Okay. And you're still working on it, o, di ba?
Yeah.
What are the two functions of the large intestine?
It controls the passage and conduction and transforms stools and reabsorbs fluids.
How does stagnation of qi affect the large intestine, and what does it result in?
It causes disruption of the downward flow of qi, resulting in abdominal distension and possibly constipation.
What happens when the qi of the large intestine sinks, and what is this always associated with?
It causes rectal prolapse or blood in the stools, which is always associated with the sinking of spleen qi.
What's the main mental aspect of the large intestine?
It influences our capacity to let go and not dwell in the past.
To which organ or channel is the large intestine related?
It's related to the lungs, so the relationship is necessary for common bodily function, as the descending lung qi lends the Li the necessary qi for the effort of defecation.
The main mental aspects of the large intestine include blank.
Not dwelling on the past or letting go.
Element for lung or large intestine.
The metal.
Taste for
It's pungent.
season.
Season is fall.
Color.
It's white.
Voice.
Voice is weak or weeping.
Outer manifestation for the lung, large intestine.
Manifests on the body hair.
Tissue for lung, large intestine.
The skin.
Sense.
The smell.
Secretions.
Snivel.
Chi dynamic.
To diffuse and descend.
Lung, large intestine governs which types of chi? There are three.
The clear, the gathering, and the wei qi.
What is lung affected by? The two emotions.
Sadness and grief.
What is large intestine affected by?
Um, Another root cause is tree stagnation and yin deficiency.
Causes for lung Li disharmony.
So the air quality, talking a lot, mouth breathing, unprotected windage, and rounded posture.
Symptoms of lung Li disharmony.
So there's cough, dry throat, mouth breathing, rounded posture, lowered immunity, skin conditions, and DMA changes.
Lung Li houses the blank zone.
Houses the corporeal zone.
Time of day for the lung.
3 to 5 a.m.
Time of day for large intestine.
5 to 7
A person
a.m.
who experiences swelling of the face when they have a cold is exhibiting the impaired distribution of bodily fluids of which organ?
Letter C, the lung.
Which organs
So
are
the
most
lung,
relevant in the regulation of breathing?
the lung and the kidney.
What will happen when the respiratory function is abnormal?
There will be acute diseases which are mainly involving the lung. Long-term diseases are in the kidneys.
So pag acute, it's lungs. Chronic,
Mm-mm. The chronic
lung
kidneys,
governs.
the chi and respiration.
Lung spreads blank down.
Through chi.
Lung influences all.
All the blood vessels or acupuncture channels or the 100 vessels.
Lung controls the blank and blank of chi and body fluids.
Controls the diffusing and descending.
Lung diffuses blank for wei chi.
Diffuses chi for wei chi.
Lung diffuses blank for sweat.
Body fluids.
Lung descends chi to.
The kidneys.
Lung descends body fluids to.
The kidneys and the bladder.
Lung disperses wei chi and body fluids of the entire body between.
The skin and muscles or the coli.
Wow, talagang
Yes.
master
Keep
na
it
master pa ulit-ulit, di ba? We get invaded by exterior pathogenic factors. For example, flu. What is the problem?
Great. Wei chi.
Wei chi depletion.
Yeah,
Lung
lung.
versus blanc to moisten the skin and regulate pores, sweat.
Body fluid.
Yeah, or
Or the
yeah.
yeah.
That's tinye, no? Tinye.
Hmm.
Okay, pattern.
Tin A.
Oh, tinye.
No, tin A.
Yeah,
Senior.
thank you. Okay, tapusin na natin to ha. Spontaneous sweating is what pattern?
Uh, lung deficiency.
Still tinye. Lung excess.
Those sweating with edema.
Okay, now you know. Edema, lung excess. Lung deficiency, fluids.
Chest congestion. So there's SOB, cough, urine retention, shortness of breath.
Lung regulates all physiological activities
By governing chi, controlling breathing, controlling all channels and blood vessels, and controlling the ascending and descending and entering and exiting of chi.
dami niyang ginagawa, no? Lahat na lang.
Yes.
Okay. How does lung deficiency involving the nose manifest?
So you'll have stuffy nose or lost sense of smell and sneezing.
What about lung heat in the nose?
Lung heat, bleeding or epistaxis.
Nasal discharge or a stuffed nose?
Lungs, DND action impaired.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Any questions before we say I hope everyone had fun. And would you like to, yeah, thank you so much.